All right, so today we're going to begin a 5-part series, and the reason that I wanted to begin this series today is because I've been talking to a lot of you guys. It's been great that you guys have been scheduling calls to talk. That's been awesome. I've really enjoyed getting to know you, and I've been talking to some awesome people. And if you're one of the people who hasn't yet called, go ahead and head over to doublestack.net/call and pick a time that works for you, and you and I will talk. So that'll be great. So, but like, here's the thing, like the last maybe 15 or so people that I've talked to, we always kind of jump into the same situation. We always kind of start the same conversation, which is, you've been out there and struggling to win these projects, and whether the projects come from like Upwork or job boards, or whether they come from word of mouth referrals, or you're just trying to start your business and you're getting you're getting leads from friends or just people that you happen to know around. The consistent thread through all of those things is that they're very low value projects. Like it's really, I guess it's no secret. So let me start out with a couple of statistics just real quick to draw out the situation for you here. So the thing is this: on one hand, we've got the WordPress economy, which is absolutely booming. There's no question about the fact that the WordPress world is just huge. So like as of June 2018, like as of like right now, the latest statistics are that WordPress is now responsible for like 31.1% of all the websites. So that means if you go to a website, there's like almost a 1 in 3 chance it's powered by WordPress. So that's huge. And on top of that, there is if you just narrow that down to like the content management system aspect of websites, then it's like over 60% of websites are run by WordPress. So there's a huge WordPress economy, no question. Everybody knows that, and therefore there's a huge demand for WordPress skills, right? How are they getting all of these WordPress sites out there if without people building them? Obviously, people are building these sites, so there's huge demand for WordPress development work, no question about it. But here's the thing: on the other hand, I got my mic in the way. On the other hand, there's all of these WordPress developers out there who are really struggling to find work, and not just any work, the work that makes sense to do. So like here's some statistics. So we looked at I dug into like Upwork statistics. I looked at the Stack Overflow statistics. I read some blog posts. I saw the review from WP Engine. I looked at all of the data, and the bottom line is the vast majority of WordPress developers are making very little money. And the reason, so like for example, the average hourly rate is somewhere between $10 and $29. Like most WordPress developers are making less than $30 an hour for their work. And the average WordPress website that gets built, people are charging less than $1,000 to build the average WordPress site. Usually it's a couple $100. So if you're one of the people doing that, how are you supposed to make an actual living? How are you supposed to scale your business if you're making less than $30 an hour and building websites for under $1,000? It's very hard to do that sort of a thing. In fact, it's probably impossible to make a serious business out of that. So another statistic. So if you look at Upwork, which is one of the most popular places to get WordPress work these days, you'll find that the average WordPress project is like $194. That's what people are paying for the average WordPress project. And if you look at the Upwork, like the side where the business developers are, or the people that are trying to buy the services, not the developers, but the people that want the development, you look at the instructions on what Upwork says for how to find a good WordPress developer. One of the things that they say is, make sure that you provide a really detailed description of what you want, get your tech specs together, and you should expect to pay somewhere in the vicinity of less than $200, right? And so the problem then becomes, if you are one of these developers, then you're going to be like fighting this frenzied battle to win these really low paying projects. And that's causing big problems for everyone involved. It's causing problems for you because you can't work for that cheap. It's causing problems for your client because you're not delivering what they really want. And of course, down the line, it's causing problems for their clients. So like they have these businesses that need customers, and they're not going to get the customers because nobody is there to actually help them. So I wanted to start this series to really underscore the fact that you don't have to do it that way, that you don't have to be in the masses of WordPress developers out there making earning peanuts, basically. You don't have to do that. And so there's another way. And so today we're starting a 5-part series where we'll go, each time we do one of these get-togethers, we'll go through one of the 5 steps to transform your business into something that is high value for you, high value for your clients too. So if you're here, go ahead and say hello in the comments field there so that I know that you're here. And if you have any questions or comments or whatever, go ahead and put them there, and I'll keep an eye down on the little comment box and address them as they come through. So step 1, how do you transform your business into a high value business? What's the deal? So we're going to be talking about things like setting up recurring revenue. We're going to be talking about e-commerce, email marketing, things like that. We're going to get to all that stuff. But in order to get to that, the first thing that you have to do is you have to transform yourself. And I know it sounds kind of, out there to say things like that. Hey, Steve. But the thing about transforming yourself is you're not going to be able to offer any of the other 4 steps if you don't first change the way that you think about yourself, the way you think about what you deliver, the way you think about your clients. You have to fundamentally transform yourself. And the thing about that is, I'm not talking about adding more skills to your resume. That's not really the issue. The issue is, what is it that you're actually offering? And if you find yourself on job boards and Upwork or with clients that somebody has referred you to, and you're waiting for them to tell you what to do, then you're not leading the client. And so what I really like to impress on everybody today is that the fundamental transformation that you need to make to yourself is you need to lead your clients as opposed to being led by them. And you need to lead your clients with integrity. And so now there's 2 parts to that whole thing. There's the leading, there's the integrity. Let's start with the leading. The leading is this. If you show up at the table and you've got something to share with your client that they've never heard about before, if you offer solutions to their business problems, that's leading your clients. If, on the other hand, you're reading through job boards and saying, yeah, I can do that, and you're going through this checklist as you read through these requests for proposals, they're leading the project. And the insanity of all of that is this. Why would anybody who is an internet professional, is a WordPress professional who works online all the time, why would you assume that the people writing these requests for proposals, who are the business owners at these other companies that do other things other than internet stuff, why would you assume that they know how to do the internet better than you? And so when you allow them to come to the table with the blueprint for the work, with everything that needs to be done, and you're just kind of mentally checking off the list that you can do all of these things and that you can do it better than everybody else, and you know how to do SEO, and you know how to do digital marketing, and you know how to do JavaScript and CSS and HTML and all the other things you know how to do, WordPress maintenance, backups. When you go through all that list of things, you're not helping. And here's why. The reason is, if the client comes to the table and says, I want you to do all of these things, then there's 2 possible scenarios that could be taking place. Now, the jobs that are out there, like on these job boards, sometimes you're working directly with the end client. And if that's the case, then the people at that company think that they know what they want. They just want somebody to implement it, and then off you go down the wrong road. But it's their road, and they're calling the shots, and so you just show up and do the work. The other scenario that could be the case is there's a lot of times that people outsource the actual development work of their own small consulting firm. So, for example, somebody might have 1 or 2 person consulting firm, but they don't want to actually do the WordPress development. They don't know how to do the HTML, the CSS, the plugins, so all that other stuff. And so what they do is they're the ones that go out to the client, develop the relationship, win a project or whatever, and then they come back to some place like Upwork, and then they post the job on there, and then people like you go out there and try to fight for those projects. So and then of course there's the third solution where you're not on Upwork at all or whatever, and you're just trying to, somebody refers a friend to you or something like that, and they say, yeah, you know what I want you to do? I want you to shift the content from my old website into my new website. I mean, I totally have stopped taking all requests like that, because that's obviously a bad thing to do, but people call us up all the time, and they want to say, can you, wrap my website in a new theme or something like that? Or can you take my old non-WordPress site and put it into WordPress? And it's like, of course, anyone can do that, but that's a very low value thing to offer, because you're not actually helping. The end result is not any better than it was before. Yeah, maybe the site works on mobile devices better or whatever. but the site doesn't actually do anything different. And so if the site doesn't actually do anything different, then you're not going to get any different results. And really, your clients care about the results. So back to the thing about Upwork. So there's two situations. You either have somebody outsourcing a project to you, and they're the ones driving the project with their client, or you have the client themselves saying, here's what I want you to do, and then they're driving the project, and you're just kind of coming along for the ride, basically, providing the technical labor. You're providing the full stack development, whatever, and that's the thing. But most of the time, in fact, almost all of the time, in fact, if you look at the statistics, you're going to make like $200, $194. That's the average price for a WordPress project on Upwork, and it's not that much different for word of mouth referrals either. So it's a couple $100, maybe $1,000 if you get a good one. And so the issue with all of that is you have to lead your clients and with integrity. And so that means you have to look out for your clients. You have to introduce them to things that they could be doing to achieve the business objectives that they have for their business, the goals, the outcomes, the actual results. And if you can say things like, I can do SEO, I can do content marketing, I can do keyword research, I can do all of these things. Those aren't the actual results, and those aren't really leading the client. Those are just saying, yeah, I can do the stuff that you've asked, and I can do it really well, or something like that. But the point is, and kind of like what we said the last time we got together, if you're in the car and you're driving in the wrong direction faster doesn't actually help. It actually makes things worse, right? So what you need to do is you need to change things. You need to fundamentally shift the way things are going. And the first thing that you need to do is change yourself. And all of the other things begin to hang off of that. All the other things follow from that particular shift. So the first fundamental shift that we want to talk about today is transforming yourself into someone who leads your clients with integrity. So the leading part means that when you talk about things with your clients, of course, you absolutely listen. I'm not talking about bullying your clients. That's stupid. You don't want to do that. That you'd lose jobs, you'd lose friends, you'd just be a bad person. Don't do that. What I'm talking about is listen for the business objectives. Don't listen for the tech specs. Worry about the tech specs later. Listen for the business objectives. What do they really want to do? So, for example, if somebody sells swimming pools, what do they really want? They want to sell the pools, of course, but they probably want people to come in to the office and talk about what kind of pool they need, or get people on the phone to see if they're a good fit for the kind of pools they sell. Or if somebody is a life coach, what do they want? They want people to call them on the phone and schedule appointments. They want clients. They want people to show up and do work with them. And so, but not just anybody, they want the right kind of people. They want the people that they can actually help with the services they provide. If you're working with like authors, like a lot of times life coaches are authors. They do both things. So you can listen for that too. And if they write books, if they have a book that they're selling, then help them get readers for the book. And there's all kinds of things you can do with that. So or book signings are huge. Like I'm working with an author right now, and she does book signings for the book that she has, and that's a huge way that she both gets readers for her book and she gets clients for her life coaching business. Because when people show up at the book signing, she hangs out with them, they talk, and it's a big deal. But in order for that to be an effective thing for her, she needs people to know that she's going to be out there doing the book signing. And so what can you do to enable her to broadcast that out to as many people as possible? What does that mean for your client? Like, how is that all going to work out? And what can you bring to the table to make that happen? And are you seeing the difference there between listening for business objectives and listening for tech specs? Because if you're listening for business objectives, what you're hearing is, okay, she wants people to show up at the book signing. Okay, she wants books. Or she wants phone calls. She wants people in the store. Those are the things that you're hearing. You're not listening for, oh, she needs some keyword research in the field of swimming pools. Or, oh, she needs an email list that ties into MailChimp. Or, oh, she needs, whatever. Those are all secondary things. You need to come to the table with the business development mindset. And that's one of the things that's fundamentally missing from the majority of WordPress developers in the marketplace, and that's why they're not earning the rates they want. And here's the thing. This is a crucial point to really make in all of this. The WordPress developers are very frustrated. Like, you guys are really frustrated because a lot of you guys used to work at consulting agencies, and you've gone out on your own for one reason or another. Or you have a friend that works at a consulting agency as a WordPress developer, and you're thinking, well, I can do just as well as they can do. Or, if you think back to your previous job, you think, well, I was getting paid $50,000 a year, or $70,000 or $80,000 a year to do this stuff. And, and my boss was marking me up to a higher rate, and, they were making money off me. So why can't I make at least as much as they were paying for my skills? I know that I have the skills. I know I have what it takes to deliver high quality stuff. I've got the skills. Well, here's the thing. There's a dramatic difference between your client, who doesn't care about your skills, and the bosses that you used to have at the old agency that only care about your tech skills. It's two totally different things. So if you're trying to sell yourself as someone who can just crush it in the tech world, then go ahead and make yourself a resume that lists HTML and CSS and PHP and SEO and digital marketing and graphic design and branding and logos and all that other stuff that you can do. Put all that stuff on your resume and send it to a recruiter, or send it to the agency that you want to work for. That's the kind of stuff they want. Don't send that stuff to your client, because they don't care. Like, if you're working with a local business, they don't care about any of those things, except for the fact that maybe some of that stuff will generate clients for them. So if you want to develop a high value business, you have to transform the way that you think about yourself, and you're not applying for the job of being the tech guy or the web person or the outsourced web development branch of some other company. That's not the high value. That used to be the high. In fact, for like 5 or 6 years, that I had that job. Like 10 years ago, my job was, like, when I started founding our web agency, one of the main ways we got work was we were the outsourced web development agency for a bunch of graphic design firms and like marketing firms that did offline marketing. If they had a client that wanted to do online stuff, they would sell the job and farm it out to us, to me primarily, to do the work. And that used to be a really valuable thing to do. But if you notice, the tides have turned, the tables have turned, that things have dramatically changed over the course of the last couple years, much less than 10 years. And that doesn't work anymore. There's far too many people out there willing to work for almost nothing to just deliver the tech stack. And that's like what Upwork even is. Like, so Upwork is basically just a place to go for people that used to be like my clients that would outsource their web development work to folks like me. They can just go and outsource it overseas or outsource it wherever they want for really, really, really low rates, because that technical skill set is not all it takes to be high value when you're working for yourself. It can be high value if you work for somebody else. And the reason why is because when you work for somebody else, they have other teams doing the sales and the business development stuff. They have other people doing that thing. See, this is what the double stack is. You need more than the full stack development. You need the business development too. It's two things. And you need to lead if you're self-employed or working with just a couple other people, just you and a couple other people, and you're running your own business. The first thing you need to lead with is the business development side. And then then what you do is you listen to all of that stuff, you figure out what the objectives are, and then you've also got the tech stack to actually pull it off. That's what makes the difference. That's where the value is. And everybody is missing the business development side. And sometimes they think they do. It's kind of like what we just talked about, where people are out there saying, you know what, I've got these great skills. I used to be paid a lot of money to do it, or I've got the same skills as my friend who's working over at XYZ agency, and then he's making like 80 grand a year. I can do just as good as he can. Why can't I sell my stuff for 80 grand a year? That's like what I need to be doing. But the problem is you're selling it to different people that value different things. And if you want to have a different outcome, the first thing you have to do is you have to change the way you think about yourself. You're not the web agency anymore. You're not just the person. You're not the outsourced web branch. You're not the guy that just shows up and cranks out the things. You're not the person who just puts on a new theme or uploads a plugin or whatever the WordPress maintenance stuff is that people want. That's low value stuff. It's not unimportant. I mean, people need that kind of stuff, but it's not the high ticket stuff. It's not the high value stuff. It's not recurring revenue. You can't scale your business like that. You're going to be looking for clients all the time and then you're going to have that whole feast and famine thing where everybody's going to want you to do everything all at once, and you're going to freak out, and then you're going to get through all of that, and then nobody's there. You'll have no clients, and you have no money, you have no income, you have nothing until you find the next client. How long is that going to be? And it's just stressful as can be, but there is a way out. But here's the thing. Most people never find the way out. Most people just, and look at the statistics. I'm not just making it up. I just told you the statistics. Most people make $10 to $29 an hour. Most people sell $1,000 or less for a WordPress website. Most people aren't doing recurring revenue. Like, very few people have any systems in place whatsoever to generate recurring revenue for themselves in any way. And the ones that are, they pretty much just stop at WordPress hosting and maintenance plans, which is also a very low value thing. Nobody cares about WordPress hosting and maintenance plans. It's just another expense. Of course you need it. People care that they don't want their site hacked. They don't want the site to go down. But, WordPress hosting and maintenance plans, that stuff doesn't bring in customers. A lot of customers don't even understand how come once it's finished, it's not done. Why can't we just leave it? So you have to explain, WordPress gets updates, plugins get up, you have to keep that stuff fresh. And, and then the client's like, okay, well, I guess so. And it's like a reluctant buy-in. It doesn't feel good to sell that kind of stuff because it's just, okay, more money's got to come out of your client's pocket. And you're kind of thinking to yourself, yeah, I know it too. It's not really the best, but somebody's got to do it, so it might as well be me. And so it's just low value, soggy stuff. And so if you want to do better than that, you absolutely can. And that's the other point. The point is there's so many people out there with WordPress sites. It's like 1 in 3 sites. It's huge. It's tons. It's a booming industry. And there are some elite people, some elite companies, WordPress developers, consultants, freelancers, whatever you want to call them. There's people out there that are crushing it with like 6-figure businesses that are built with sustainable, recurring, reliable monthly revenue coming in. And then there's everybody else. And you can see that the numbers just play out. Look at the Stack Overflow reports. Look at the Upwork $194 projects. Look at the hourly rates that come out from like the WP Engine report or whatever. Look at all that stuff, and you can see that what we're talking about is the real deal. There's people out there that are crushing it, and then the vast majority of people are suffering. And here's what the real tragedy. You want to know the real tragedy? I'll tell you the real tragedy. The real tragedy is not just that there's a ton of WordPress developers out there suffering and struggling and quitting because they can't do it anymore and wearing themselves out. That is bad, no question about it. But here's the real problem. The people that you would be working with, they're going unserved. And these are people that do awesome things. Like I've talked to you a bunch of times. Like most of the times when we get together, I even mention it. Our clients are awesome people. We work with like functional medicine doctors. We work with life coaches. Like I was just telling you about the author that we're working with, who like literally helps like people that suffer from massive problems, like grief and sorrow. And these people are getting help, but they wouldn't be getting the help if they just posted their own job description on Upwork or something. And so the issue is, the real tragedy is, there's all of these people out there that need you to come to the table and lead them into what they're doing. So I've talked a ton about the leadership, and this is really the main thing. There's all these people out there that can do awesome stuff, that need help with their online presence, need help getting out there, getting the word out, getting people to understand what they do, and get connections, get leads basically, and nobody's out there doing it. The vast majority of people are just sitting out there waiting for someone to tell them what to do, and then they do it, and they're hoping that the life coach is somehow also a fantastic internet expert that knows how to do all the internet things and just needs somebody to plunk the keys along to make it happen, which of course is not the case. And so what that means is all the people over there, they're the ones going out of business, because you're not there helping them. And the reason you're not there helping them is because you're promoting your services to them as if you were promoting yourself to an agency or a recruiting firm. And it's just, it's going over their heads. They're not getting it. They're not seeing the value, and they're not paying for the value because they're not seeing it. And then you're either turning down the job, or you're doing it really quickly and as fast as possible, because you got to make a living for yourself too. So everything is falling apart with that paradigm, with that approach. But when you turn the tables, everything changes. And that's the leadership part. If you can go out there and lead your clients, that changes all of the things. So so it's Steve's comment. Yes, thank you. And so here's the other part. Here's the last part. So we talked about the leadership part. Here's the integrity part. You have to lead your clients with integrity. And to clear up everything right off the bat, I'm not at all suggesting that everyone has no integrity, that all the people are bad people, everybody's doing unscrupulous stuff, whatever. That's not at all the point. You know, there's plenty of great people that care about their clients and all of this other stuff. But here's the thing. They're not using that aspect of who they are to help their clients. They might be great people and honestly sending out the right number of hours on their invoices and all that other stuff, but that's not the point. You need to use the integrity along with the leadership. So if you're leading your clients with integrity, what that means is you're listening to their business objectives, you're thinking about the things that you can do to help, and then you're leading them along the path to success because it's going to deliver the business outcomes, the objective, the results. It's going to deliver the results because of your leadership. And you're not leading somebody down the path of, oh, you know what? I just learned how to use this membership plugin. I'm going to go ahead and you know, now that I know how to do that, I'm going to make sure that they have that because I know how to do it and they should have it, whatever. And so you're not just pushing things on people because you know how to do it, or you know, you'll get paid more if you do a particular thing. The reason you're leading your clients is because you're pushing the things that will actually work for them. That's the integrity part. And so if you're leading your clients with integrity, if you can put those two things into place, that will fundamentally transform the way that you view yourself, the way that you view your clients, the way that you view your business. And the bottom line question is, how can you better serve your clients? That's like the fundamental question that I ask myself with every single thing that I do. Is what I'm about to do going to deliver better results for my clients? So in the context of what we're doing here, you know, the question, like when I figure out what are we going to talk about for these Facebook Lives, right? The first question I ask is, what can I say? What can I do? How can I deliver better results for the people who are in this Facebook group and who are calling me on the phone and who are like, what can I do to deliver the best results? And all of the other things that I do hang off of that initial thing. And that is leadership, and that is integrity. That's what I'm talking about. And when you do that for yourself, when you do that for your business, it changes everything about it, including the value of your proposals. So that's the first shift. So next time we get together, we'll talk about the second one. And in the meantime, if this sounds like stuff that you want to know more about, if this sounds like the kind of stuff that you want to do, if you're sick and tired of working really hard to win these really low value projects, then we can fix that. This is the stuff that can be fixed. So give me a call. Head over to doublestack.net/call, and you'll see my schedule. And it's my personal one, by the way. It's not just everybody that works here. You'll get in touch with me. That's my personal schedule. So there's only a couple of slots available, but I've tried to make as many available as I can. Pick a time that works for you, and we'll get on the phone. We'll talk about this stuff, and it'll be awesome. So we'll talk about your ideal audience. We'll talk about your clients. We'll talk about setting up systems for recurring revenue. We'll talk about the types of projects you want to work on and how you can just crush it in that field, and how you get out of all of those people that are just, you know, fighting for these low ticket projects and into the ability to lead your clients with integrity. That's the fundamental and first shift you need to make to your business. So if that sounds good to you, head on over to doublestack.net/call and pick a time that works for you. Right after that, you'll see a little form, a couple of questions. Fill that out real quick, and then that'll tell me a little bit more about who you are, so I can prepare. And when we get on the phone, I'll just be ready to just drive as much value as I can to you. And again, as we just talked about, the whole point of it all is, I ask myself, what can I do to give as much value to the people that I work with as I can? What can I do? What is it going to be that will drive the most value? And these calls seem to be really, really helpful for a lot of folks. So if that sounds like something you want to do, hop on a call. Would love to talk to you. And then join back in for next Tuesday. We're going to talk about the second shift. So awesome, guys. Thanks for being here. And I absolutely look forward to talking to you again soon.